Welcome to another five-star edition of Props to Consider, and then maybe bet. Strickland versus Cannonier. I am your host, the Venerable Lou Betya. If you're watching this, please give the video a like. Please subscribe to the MMA Engine channel. It all helps. This is the last event of the year. If you watched last week, we had a crazy good bounce back to Poirier round 2, smashed. A couple of live bets I made, smashed. All in all, a very good week. So let's see if we can end it in style. Let me introduce my guest this week. He is not a content creator yet. He may be soon. That's up to him. His birthday is tomorrow, which is important. It's my friend Max. And since the very beginning of when I started on MMA Twitter, this is a guy I have been talking to. He's a smart ass like I am. Also a fellow New York Giants and a fellow Manchester United fan. Max, talk to the people. How are you doing today, man?
Great. It's great to be here. I'm excited to find some props and maybe bet on them.
I mean, that's all we can ever ask is to consider them and then maybe bet. Now, this isn't your first time on YouTube. If you'd like to tell the people who you worked with before, which is somebody I have still yet to work with.
Yeah, so I've done a podcast a couple of weeks back with the Fight Night Knights of Degen guys. That's Kevin, Emperor G, Matt, Proto, and Jiu-Jitsu Dan. 3 really knowledgeable guys. Also, kind of what that is, Fight Night. It's an NFT-based group where you're on Discord and you're really watching the fights with a group of people, talking about your bets, and it's as if you're with all these people in the same room.
We will actually be doing that on Saturday. We're doing a fight. It'll be our 3rd fight companion with a Pat, Tickets to Combat, Cody from Blood Money Bets, and Johnny Capex. We've done 2 of them in the past. The only problem we have is we're always like 5 seconds off on the stream. So it's like one of us adjusts and it's like, wait, now I'm 10 seconds behind. Like had that happen. So but there's a lot of good times to do that, especially like my friends I used to watch the cards with have moved away. So It's kind of like it's the best I can do right now. But and you worked with Gambas, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, I did the sharp side with him with Gambas. I gave out an MLB pick there. I gave out the Cleveland Guardians in a game that took 10 years off my life. They won 1-0 in 15 innings.
But you were right. You got it, but you got it right. I guess that's the important thing there. Yeah, I mean, it was nice for Gambas to lend me magic last week. So I've done work with half the podcast, but Gambas is on my very short list of the few people I haven't really worked with yet. As far as the Fight Night boys, we already talked. We're going to do something.
Yeah, early. I'm sure Gambas would love to do something with you. He's a great guy. I actually, small world enough, one of his friends, Doug De La Cruz, I wrestled with when he wrestled with in high school and college, and I wrestled with him in high school as well.
That's crazy. I mean, I wrestled with like Randy Savage, because I'm old, and me and Bruno Sammartino had a go of it back in the day. But enough about that. Let's get to this card. If you're watching the show for the first time, this is a show more about like the crazy angles you can take on fights. It's not straight picks. It's not even like pure analysis, but we don't really have any rules here. It's just going over some of like the higher end bets that caught our eye. And Max, I will start with you. Give me your first prop to consider for the show.
So my first prop to consider, I'll go something kind of smaller odds. I like Sergey Morozov by KO here. He's just going to bring action. I'm going to be heavy on fight doesn't go the distance. I believe it's at plus 105 it opened, which is an outrageous number in my opinion. But Morozov by KO is plus 500, and it's a spot I'm going to look to target when it comes on to DraftKings. I really like the number, and I think it's really should be line minus 200.
Yeah, the only concern, I have like PTSD with betting this guy. I think it's the De Andrade fight where I was like a 10-7 first round, basically, and then he died. But De Andrade's pretty tough. I don't know that Newsom's going to be able to weather that storm as much. So I like that. At plus 500, I think you're getting really good odds, especially opening up the night. Like, you love seeing stuff like that. Let me start with so I have a lot of submissions I like. So I'm going to start with the one that's not a submission because I have to do a split decision bet just because what I do. The battle of the Sades, Kakramanov and Nurmagomedov to end in split decision. These props are not out yet. In fact, I can't even see them on best fight odds. So I'm going to guess that it's probably going to be about plus 400. And every time you bet a split, you always want to bet each guy to win by split as well. You make more money that way. You don't care who wins that point. Typically, I'm guessing for this fight, they're going to be in the plus 800 to plus 900 range each. Striker versus wrestler. I feel like they're both good enough to kind of stay out of getting in too much trouble damage-wise. I think if it does hit the ground, Kakramanov is going to we saw it against Ronnie Lawrence. It wasn't like he was doing a ton of damage, just control, which I think was good for that fight. I could see these rounds where Kakhramonov has a lot of control on the ground, but on the feet, maybe Nurmagomedov's hurting him a little bit. So I think that fight could be I think it's going to go the distance more often than not. The line certainly backs that at I had this up. Fight goes decision is depending on your book, between minus 133 and minus 150. So the books agree it probably will go to the judges. And if it does, it's going to come down to who did damage on the feet versus control time. So fights like this, I can't even say I have a lean either way. I liked Kakhramonov earlier in the week. Now there's a little resistance. Now I saw it was minus 110 each. I think I've lost any value I wanted there, but I could see this fight being a super competitive, weirdly judged fight. So as my one flyer on the split, we're going to go with that one. What do you got next?
Yeah, so I'm going to come right back to that fight and kind of kill that for you.
Uh-oh.
I love Kakhramonov here. I think he should be up to a 2-1 favorite here. So I am on him at minus 110, but my favorite play for this fight is Kakhramonov round 3 plus 1,800. We've seen Said gas.
I'm listening.
He gassed bad against Douglas Da Silva de Andrade, was getting hurt in that fight late in the second round into the third, was taken down in the third. And, I actually think Said Kub is going to have the power advantage in this fight too. He throws with everything, and he's not scared of getting into a wrestling situation because he's a combat sambo bronze medalist. He's a BJJ brown belt. He's a judo black belt. He has all the skills to beat Said Nurmagomedov where he needs to. And then on the feet, when he keeps it there, I think Said's going to try to skirt with his kicks on the outside, and it's going to hurt him because he's going to throw a spin kick and get caught and get taken down because of it. And it's interesting where Kakhramonov trains, I believe, with the team with Terrence McKinney. That's one of his main training partners. And I think some of the same style has been brought out of him with that. I mean, Ronnie Lawrence was busted open badly. He didn't go for many subs because Ronnie is educated in that. But, I mean, the strength difference there was something that was crazy to see. And everywhere that Said Nurmagomedov is advanced here, I think Kakhramonov is more advanced, other than maybe kickboxing.
I was very impressed with his grappling in that fight. I mean, not like I didn't know he could grapple well, but I mean, he dominated Ronnie Lawrence in that fight. I had him to win. In fact, I'm pretty sure I had him round 3 in that fight as well. So maybe that's why I just went instinctively went away from it. But
do it again.
I mean, it's like, look, if it doesn't work the first time, just keep doing it. It has to be. I may add that. I still like my split props here, but that round 3 might be a nice little backup, especially if Said's winning the first 2 rounds. Maybe that's a nice little sneaky way to do it. But all right, let me get into the first of my 3 submissions that I have. I'm gonna go in order of odds, but my guy Juicy J, Arosa sub is plus 500. I love what I see from him. I mean, look, I know the knock on him is his glass jaw over the time, over the years, but I'm not really worried about Caceres knocking him out here. Caceres is not a big finisher to begin with. And I like what I've seen from Arosa on the ground in all his fights. I mean, he mixes it up. He doesn't look to just only keep it standing or only take it to the ground. He takes but if the takedowns are there, he does it. He did in his last fight against Youssef. He looked great. And I think if he gets this thing to the ground, or even against Jourdain, he caught him on the feet with a submission.
His last fight was Dawodu.
Dawodu, I'm sorry.
Caceres was.
Sorry. I look at a lot of fight data over the weeks. Even the way he caught Jourdain was standing in a standing choke. He's creative. He looks for interesting things. And Caceres is a creative fighter too. But I think this thing does hit the ground. And I think if it does hit the ground, I think Caceres is in a lot of trouble. Obviously, Arosa could probably knock him out too. But give me Arosa to sub at plus 500. What I think is decent odds on a night where I think there's going to be a lot of submissions. That's the theme of the night for me.
Yeah, I like that angle. I likely in that fight am going to play fight ends by sub. I think Caceres has been working on his grappling and just has a good back take if Arosa kind of gets tired or falls. But early in the week, I was looking to put a lot of money in Arosa. That Dawodu fight, he really turned the corner, it looked like, and he wasn't fighting like an idiot. So I love that plus 500 play that you're looking at with the sub. And with my next one, I'm going to steal one of yours for sure.
Well, hold on. I just want to tell you one thing real quick before we move on. So the last time There was 2 fights before that with Arosa. Was the Steven Peterson fight, and that's when Peterson weighed in like 5 pounds heavy and then was like flexing. Like, it's like, all right, dude, you used the box of shame to get down to 4.5 pounds. But I had Peterson split decision in that one because I knew it was pretty tough, and I almost got there. I mean, Rosa won by split.
Yeah.
But that was the fight where I was even like, Rosa's showing some toughness that I don't think that like we hadn't seen before. I know he made a change in camp. I mean, he even said he made a change in his lifestyle. So I wonder if that's like that fight led to the one against Dowd, where he's like, I'm not worried about a glass chin anymore. I just wonder if maybe he has turned the corner. I mean, he's 38 fights in or whatever. Like, it's kind of funny to think that's something you can fix, but maybe he's staying out of trouble. So sorry, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm excited that it wasn't your first one. I'm taking Rafa Garcia by sub. I mean, this fight kind of seems black and white to me. The hype behind Mahashete, I understand. He's one of those UFC Chinese Institute PI guys who they're trying to push forward, but this is not the guy to set him up with. Rafa Garcia is a durable guy who's not just going to hang out in the pocket and try to brawl with you. Yeah, he's going to come in and out and brawl a little bit, but he's going to get on your legs. He's going to take you down, and I think he submits him quite easily. Mahashete has that Chinese Greco, I think, but he's got no grappling. I think I win a grappling match versus him. I think that anytime Rafa wants to get this to the ground, I think he's going to come out and try to bait him, show him, oh, I'm going to strike with you. I'm going to strike with you. And then as soon as Mahashete gets a little confident and calm, he's going to get taken down very easily.
I love it. And I also, I mean, Garcia has proven to be pretty durable too. So even if he does get tagged early, maybe that just makes him want to grapple even more. That's the one thing I worry about with Garcia is like, are you going to try to prove a point, keep it on the feet like too long? Like, I hope he doesn't. But he's looked good when he's, and his cardio is pretty good. I mean, he's pretty gamey with it. The one fight against Ronson, I was really impressed. He's like, nope. Like the Levy fight, the Natan Levy fight, I was really impressed with too, because Levy's a guy that I know his cardio is not the greatest, but he wasn't afraid to like use the grappling in that fight either.
Yeah,
so,
and Levy's a dangerous grappler. He goes for something at every point of the fight, even when he's on his back. So it was great to see that. He had been coming in with better game plans. He wrestled a lot more against Ricard Close. So I really do like this play here.
And Close is, I mean, I really do think it's very underrated.
Yeah, that was a levels fight.
Yeah, I think that was a good performance against a guy who I think is consistently underrated by the market. But let's stick with subs and let's get to the guy that I am talking to in a few hours. Gotta go, my guy Cody Brundage at sub at plus 575. Originally he was going to face Adolfo Vieira, and I loved him in that fight solely because I love his cardio. Cody Brundage could easily outlast him if he got out of the first round. It wasn't going to me, I was like, he's not going to have an issue even getting takedowns after the first round. This is a little bit different fight. I know Lord Michael or Miker, as Best Fight Odds is calling him for reasons, because they can't. Well, it's like, Durko to Durver. Like they always have names they can't get right. I know this is his second fight at 185, and he looked good last time. I get it, but that was against Sam Alvey. So yeah. Now, of note, this is the second fight that he's having against somebody at Factory X. He fought Jacoby and he lost. And these guys, like, this is what they do in the gym is they're trading. Oh, they have to. Well, they have notes. I mean, they already did a camp for a guy.
Totally different style fight is why I say that.
It is, but knowing that they've already prepared for this guy once is a nice little head start for Cody. I know Cody's been working on the striking. It would not be in his best interest to make this a 15-minute striking fight. When he fought Trayshawn Gore, I'm screaming like 8 seconds in, why has he not gone for a takedown? It looked better, sure, but it's not something you want to play around with against guys that are pure strikers. I mean, in the case of Jacoby, it's different because he's a kickboxer. And I know that that's one thing that Cody's been working on, but he's got to get this to the ground. And if he does, the sub's going to be there. I do think at some point. I'm not going to play around prop here. I'm already emotionally invested in it. He's our guy. He's a friend of the channel. So I don't think he wins by knockout. I could see a decision if he does just get a lot of top control. But he hunts for subs. Even the third round against Maximoff that he took on short notice, he's hunting for submission. So I think he's going to have at least one or two pretty good chances to get it. And at plus 575, I like the price for what I think is his prime winning condition. So we're going to go with that for my bet. And hopefully it goes up, because it seems like the market does not want to bet him, which is fine by me.
Yeah, people kind of have that 185 Mikel aura. He, like you said, beat Sam Alvey with some gross punches, but they were just all overhand lefts. So as long as you don't get hit with an overhand left, you should be fine. He does bring a lot of power to 185. We know that. But we don't know how his gas tank's going to hold up. We don't know how his durability is going to hold up. That fight, I'm on under 1.5. I may play some Cody late props. We'll see what I do.
Yeah, I was at 1.5, are always a scary thing. I'm going to wait. It's one thing I wanted to see on DraftKings because I don't have it out yet, but I like to middle those and do like fight doesn't start round 3. Like, give me that extra 2.5 minutes because times
it's going to be like minus 200.
I mean, fight doesn't go. I saw as minus 275.
Yeah.
Maybe if there were a couple of bets like that last week where I got like minus 180 range, and like it's a parlay piece at best. But
exactly.
But certainly, like I'll see what the numbers are and then make a decision. But I'm letting you know I don't have any props less than 1,000 going forward. So let's see what you're bringing.
Yeah, no, me neither. I have a prop that's not going to be out yet. I just kind of am imagining the odds. Brian Battle is going down again to welterweight, I believe it is 170, and we don't know how his cardio is going to hold up. We don't know how his durability is going to hold up. I bet against him in every fight. In every fight, he ruins my bets and beats me. But this is a chance where you're getting a guy cutting down to a weight class that he's only done once before. He's been dominated on the ground in The Ultimate Fighter in fights where he had to ground battle. And this is a guy in Renat who is going to force wrestling pace the entire fight. Battle's on short notice here as well. So I'm looking Renat 3, Renat sub, and Renat sub 3 potentially. Renat 3, I'm looking kind of plus 900 or 1,000. Sub 3, obviously 1,200, 1,500. And sub,
it'll be more than that.
Gotta hope so, but that's
it will be.
That's what I lined that at.
I'm on the Renat side too here. I was very upset last night. Whenever I watch Wheezy's show, and if anybody watching this, please go watch Uncle Wheezy's Tuesday night show on his channel. He was on the Battle side here, and like to him, it was like not even debatable. And I was like, really? Like, I don't know. I mean, getting a knockout win against Takashi Sato in like 9 seconds is not what you're getting here.
I mean, first off, it was a sick kick. It was unbelievably placed.
Not taking anything away from it,
But that doesn't tell you anything.
No, and I like Renat too. He's another undervalued guy. I love that. I'm going to do that Renat sub 3. I already have him bet, and I'm going to play him in a distance. So I do like that round 3. Look, you're going to give me a bet that's going to be like plus 1,800, which you've already given me a few. I'm listening.
I'm going to give you a bunch. You know that.
I love it. So, all right, let me go to my next sub. And this one, I'm just going to be, in all honesty, I'm not super confident about this one. I just think there's a path to it. That's David Dvorak. First of all, The Undertaker, and you and I are both wrestling fans. So, like, irresponsible of me not to play somebody named The Undertaker. The Dvorak sub plus 1,100. So, I'm not a big Manel Cop guy at all. I don't really care about, like, the microgram cheating or whatever he was doing, but my problem is that I think he's a fairly one-dimensional fighter. I mean, he's got some great power for the division. Don't get me wrong. His tape is like all-star shit. Like, it's crazy to look at his tape. And Dvorak has been finished, sure, but like Dvorak does have a path to get this to the ground. I realize that his takedown stats in the UFC have not been great at all, but the path is there, and I do think he can hold up long enough to get this fight to the ground. If he does, this is a guy who does proactively go for submissions. Again, it's not a position over submission kind of guy. It's a guy who's hunting for subs. I don't trust Cop's cardio either. Like, I don't. Like, he throws everything he has into every punch. I mean, I go back to like the Ode Osborne fight. Osborne was having success, and then Cop was just winging bombs, and he got him. I mean, like, Osborne's strike defense isn't good, but I mean, that's the kind of fight he does. And I think Dvorak has shown he's got a lot of decision wins, and he's looked fresh in the third round of some of these fights. So I think the cardio might be there. I think a late sub isn't out of the question. it's what can he do with the takedowns? Because I do think as long as he doesn't get bonked in the first couple of minutes, they're going to be there for him. So plus 1100 is pretty sexy here. Like, I don't think, even if you like Cop, I don't think there's any way you can back him at this number at minus 240, 250. Like, I just don't think you can. I would think Dvorak's the play anyway, money line, just because of the number or pass, but that sub prop's juicy. He's not knocking him out unless it's like a ground and pound. He's not knocking him out. So, yeah, plus 1100's pretty sexy for me.
You stole my next one. Get me back for Rafa Garcia. I like Dvorak in this fight. I have bet him at plus 200 already, and I'm going to bet him by sub as well. I mean, remember this. Dvorak's last fight, he was a minus 130 favorite against Matheus Nicolau, who we've seen where he is now, and he just couldn't figure out the movement like most people can. And now he's coming in to be a plus 200 underdog to Manel Kape, who also lost to Nicolau, lost to Pantoja, and just hit 2 lucky bombs, basically, and finished fights. I mean, the fight against Zalgas, he was getting pieced up and hit by Zalgas a lot. All you got to do is force pressure on this guy, and that's something Dvorak is great at. He pushes pressure, he pushes pace. Like you said, we don't know how great Manel's gas tank really is. No one's really pushed him like that. So I love that sub prop plus 1100 too. I'm going to go Yambags next.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I got no more.
Well, can I give you my crazier one and then we do Yambags?
Please do.
So I told you that hold on one second.
Oh, actually, sorry. I do have one more. Just have let me see the odds that come up. It is Amir Albazi round 3 plus 700. I like it. This kid Custer's good. I think this fight's going to be sneakily one of the better fights. It might win fight of the night. But he did a little bit gas late in his Contender Series fight in Lux. He's finishing a lot of people pretty early, and he's coming in on short notice here. So I like Albazi round 3. I may have a little bit on it, might not bet it, but at plus 700, it's definitely an interesting number.
Right. Sorry, one sec. Take care of that. Sorry, my boss was asking me a question. All right, here's my weird one. So you and I have talked. We're both on the Cannonier side. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you also said you think his KO prop is a smash spot.
Yeah, I have 2 units on it plus 250.
I'm going to take it one step further here. So Strickland's the last 2 times he's been KO'd was quick one against Pereira and a quick one against Zaleski. Now, you never get any meat on the bone with a round 1 prop. So I took it a step further. I'm going to bet 2 bets here. Cannonier between the 2-minute and 2:59 mark, and Cannonier between the 3-minute. I knew you'd laugh at this one. And 3:59 mark. They're both plus 4,000. So look, if this is when Strickland gets knocked out, and this fight's not hitting the ground, because I've bet Strickland enough times to like do wrestling where I'm like, fuck this. No longer betting him. It's going to be on the feet. Look, it's a main event poke that's worth it. And like, look, obviously bet this one responsibly. This is going to be like this is going to be like $5 each. This isn't, you're not hammering this one, but 2 plus 4,000 odds bets for the weird times that Strickland's been knocked out against the guy who certainly has the power. He doesn't need to set you up for a KO. It could be a one-shot KO. So
it's going to be.
I'm going to take the stupid flyer. Look, I'm going to end the year in style with like the most nonsense, stupid bet. I've only ever bet a time prop like this once. My guy Phoenix MMA was so big on Caio Borralho. I think it was 2 fights ago, but he's like, he's going to win at the 4-minute and 12-second mark. I was like, Jesus. Okay. Like, he was so confident to the second. So I was like, okay.
And then a decision happened.
And then I'm like, well, and it was funny because like he got a takedown 30 seconds before that. And I was like,
oh, it's coming.
I'm like, oh my God, this might happen. And then like, then nothing. Then nothing happened. No, that wasn't the decision. That was the 3rd round. Like,
that wasn't
technical decision.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So now it's time for
one question on that. What's
that?
The under 60 seconds Cannonier KO prop?
Let's see if they have it. I'm pulling it up right now.
Because if they have those numbers, they have to have 0 to 60.
I know that BetMGM does it specific for both, and let's see, fight props, first minute finish.
First minute finish is plus 2,200. What
Yeah,
about
I don't know if they have it for. Oh, you mean like? Oh, never mind. I know what you're saying.
those like time intervals? Like
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Plus 4,000.
Yeah,
throw it on that too, because Strickland just got KO'd silly less than 6 months ago. You just saw what happened to Chris and Kyle Dawkins. They might not be able to end Tai Tuivasa. You might not be able to take a punch.
I know. Are you enjoying the Dawkins brothers in your state? Since I've deported them from Philly.
They're not in Maryland. They're not in Jersey. They're not in the city. So
they're in a warehouse somewhere. I've shipped them to. We can only have Philadelphia. No, I'm just kidding. I like the Dawkins brothers. Maybe they just need some time away to heal. Like you and I were talking about, like Chris is talking about moving down to lightweight. Maybe that's a good idea. Like, never a bad thing to like. It's never too late to make like big changes like that. So like, I wish them the best. Like, and but making Anders look like a world beater is a guy that I bet on Anders. Anders has cost me so much money because I like the guy, and I just keep thinking, I'm like, now's the time he's turning the corner. So I bet him this time too, and I'm like, oh shit, he actually did. He did look pretty good this time.
It just seems Kyle gets headbutted in every fight, and it knocks him out.
Right? Like it's
out.
It's very odd. So
it's because his plotting kind of forward style, head over everything else.
Well, he launches like when he, it's the way he like kind of does entries on the feet. But all right, so what are we doing for the point deduction? What do you got for Yam Bags? Because there's no way you picked mine for this.
No,
I hope not. It'd be funny if you did.
It would be funny if I did. I'm gonna go with the Albazi Costa fight.
Okay, and your reasoning is
ton of grappling, fence grabs.
Okay, I wonder. Let me just look something up with that, because I don't know if you've heard the science that Weezy and I have cooked up for this. So there's one thing we like to look for, and this fight does not have it. Okay, one thing that like will
past point deductions.
No, lefty versus righty, because that opens up the stances and like
eye pokes.
But cage grabs are certainly the next on the list. Yeah, I mean, Costa's taking it short notice too, so the cardio could very easily past that first round, he could very easily get in trouble. I am not doing a Yam Bags bet this week.
What?
I'm doing a Clam Bags bet.
Okay, I knew it was going to be this fight, and I didn't want to take it.
So we're going Vlismas, McKenna. So first of all, they are lefty. Well, it's switch versus orthodox. So that's good enough for me.
Let's call her by her correct name. Delete it.
Oh, no. I can't say why, but somebody in my company who shall remain nameless, that wasn't me, called Mr. Delidza by a different last name, and he got yelled at for it. So I would prefer not to
not Delidza.
So I would just say I would prefer not to invoke the wrath of Mr. Delidza, especially after he pulled off like the STF, like he used John Cena's move. So I would prefer not to invoke his wrath for this. And if you're listening, sir, we support you and we liked your last fight. But yes, at least, but Cheyenne Vlismas and Corey McKenna. Man, I don't know. Like Corey McKenna, do you want to talk about PTSD betting a fighter? I got tons of PTSD from that fight against Elise Reed. I know Weezy does. I know Brady does. Like, we were like, how is this happening? And I'm sure McKenna's going to make improvements. She's probably already has from her last fight. I know she's young. I get it. But Vlismas has some like pretty decent power on the feet. And the thing is McKenna is going to try to go for grappling. If Vlismas is in fact training with Roman Delidza, I would assume, and I'm saying this respectfully, of course, I would assume that she's working on the grappling. Like that's the point in her game that would need the more work, because the striking looks pretty good. So if that's the case and she can defend some takedowns from McKenna, I know her takedown defense so far in the UFC hasn't been great, but like
McKenna's not overly physical when she's going for takedown. Like
she's not. And I think her entries, she's shooting from like 7 feet away. So, I mean, they're pretty readable. But again, there's cage grabs here. And also it's a
needed a head fight.
And it is a low level. It is a lower level fight. I don't care if I'm not apologizing for that comment. It's a lower level women's MMA fight. It is what it is at this point in their careers. And typically in a lower level fight, you do see more mistakes. You do see even just the fingers being outstretched when they're standing up. We've had so many cage grabs these last few weeks that like
Nothing.
I'm really hoping that like somebody says something to these refs like, dude, there's been like a cage grab every fight that like you guys either don't see or don't even warn about, or in the case of like Herb Dean, he's warning 7 times. So hopefully they're like, and why can't I get Jason Herzog for one of these fights? Because he's the one guy who's going to be like, dude, that's a like he won't even give him a warning. He'd be like, that's a point.
Keith Peterson just yells at them.
I mean, he's no nonsense. Keith Peterson doesn't have time to take points. He's no nonsense. You know, he's busy. So look, honestly, I just didn't see. I'm not inspired at this point in the week. Like, there's no other fight that I think could have it. But of course, I'm going to throw yours in too, because that is a free bet for you. You guys, can you bet that in Maryland or no?
I'm in New York City.
Okay.
I was just born in Maryland, raised in Jersey.
So then I know you can't.
Yeah.
Because the irony is that Gombis is the one that got me on this whole thing in the first place. That like I didn't realize I could bet point deductions, and now he's like, I can't even bet them. He's like, they are able to be bet. I cannot bet them. And I'm like, well, I'm betting them every week then.
I can go to Jersey and bet them there, but it's ridiculous.
Is it really worth leaving the state just to put in a ball shot bet? Like,
it takes 10 minutes to leave the state. So
there you go. I know that the only books that I know that have them are DraftKings and Betway. I don't know if you have access to Betway, but it wouldn't matter because it's the same odds provider. Like, it's literally the same numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure whoever provides the DraftKings provides to them. So it's like if you can't do one, you're not gonna be able to do the other one. So it's weird that that's a restricted bet. Of all the bets that they offer, like 190 bets on a certain fight, that's the one.
No, you'd be surprised.
I'm saying like that's a ridiculous. So what do you guys get?
So
you get standards like over under.
We just started getting Fight Doesn't Start Round X.
Really?
Yeah, okay. That was within the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We just got Method of Victory Double Chance. So you could do KO decision, stuff like that in the last 2 weeks. We got all Method of Victory Double Chance. So one for each guy we got in the last 2 weeks.
What about FanDuel? Have you had all these things on there or?
Nope.
Wow. That's so weird.
And for like fight props, we only have Fight Doesn't Go the Distance. That's the only prop. So like I don't have any of those minute ones. I don't have yam bags. I have time of finish now, but no each person. I don't. Yeah, round exact method. We just got winner group or rounds. We just got. Before this, it was just win by finish, win by each method, win by decision. We couldn't even bet. Oh no, we still can't bet. Oh no, now we can money line finish only. That was within the last 2 weeks. Money line decision only within the last 2 weeks. It's starting to get better, but it was bare bones for a while.
You know, I saw a lot of people betting Cannonier finish only, which I thought was a very interesting way to play it.
I just feel like the odds would be bad, no?
Minus 140 money line finish only.
Oh wow, it's not bad.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad look. He's pretty tough. He's pretty durable, and like honestly, how many what was it, the Hermanson fight where I'm like, is he gonna do anything?
Yeah,
Is Strickland gonna do anything in this fight? Like,
he throws a lot, but none of it's one punch finish stuff. He's literally in there to brawl. He's not in there to knock you out.
Yeah. So like, I think that's not a bad look to play that fight that way. I don't personally like those bets. Like, I don't like pushes. You know what I mean? Like, just
fair.
I want somebody to die. There, I said it. I'm there. I'm here for the violence. That's why I bet yellow cards in like soccer. You know,
this card, it could happen with Strickland.
One last bet for you. If Spain or if Argentina plays France on Sunday, and look, let's be honest, I have to think that's going to be the matchup.
Yeah.
I'm not that. Hey, man, Morocco has been like super impressive, but you want to talk about levels games? This is a levels game.
Yeah.
This would be a rematch from last World Cup in one of the best games in the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
where Pavard hit the one from like 40 yards out, like
Yes.
that rocket. Who would you have in an Argentina versus France matchup, and how would you line it?
Well, so full disclosure on it, I'm holding an Argentina plus 550.
Oh, so you have to bet France almost.
I won't be.
Oh, you're just going to lay off it. Okay.
No, I'm going to bet more Argentina.
Wow. Is this like a messy narrative, or you just
No.
think they're the better team?
I think they're the better team. I think Laika Martinez can come in at any time and set a tempo against them. I think if they put him at right back, if they go to 5 at the back again like they did in the quarterfinals, they're just containing Mbappe. Giroud's not good. He's big, but he's not good.
He's somehow defying the odds. He defies the odds, and like,
but they lost Benzema, they lost Pogba, they lost Conte. Their midfield is not as strong as it has been, and now they're also they have Upamecano and Varane. Varane, I love at Man United, but he can't play this many games in a row.
No.
And
you and I also are not fans of Pogba. We have our own reasons. We are not fans.
He's only good for France.
He's only good for 30 minutes a season. And then he's hurt.
Yes.
And then he's hurt.
But he's always good for country.
I know. He seems like it's weird that he cares, but all right, well, that's going to do it.
I got to know your opinion on that.
I'm just going to bet the total. I know it's a horrible thing to do in like a final. Like, how are there not goals in this game, man? Like, I just Argentina's defense is holding the ball. Like,
it's been so strong though.
Well, I'm saying is their version of defense is possession.
Fair.
It's not like I think they're absurdly good at I'm not saying they're bad at the back. I'm saying, and France is kind of similar. Look, I don't love Lloris. He's getting older. He's all right. Like, I don't think he cost you games.
He's made a lot of mistakes this World Cup that haven't ended up hurting them, but they've just been like, what?
Well, he does it for Tottenham too. He makes like weird mistakes, like howlers. He just lets in. You're like, but then like they'll just go score 4 goals and it's like all is forgiven. So I think they're shaky at the back too. I mean, but man, it's hard like to look, and I'm sure there's gonna be a popular bet like Messi and Mbappe both score, and it's probably gonna be like plus 150. So
yeah.
There's no way you make that bet. But
get on the DraftKings boost today. Mbappe.
I saw it.
To win,
I saw it.
250.
I know their team total over 1.5 minus 115 too, which was like, I kind of feel like that's pretty appealing.
I'm gonna bet that. I mean, if bet minus France minus 1.5 at plus 155, and then,
I feel like if France scores once in the first half, or like,
like
whatever. Well, the Morocco has to open it up. Like, that's the point. Is like, as long as Morocco can play like Morocco, and look, I'm super impressed the way they've played. Ziyech is such an asshole for me. Like, I hate watching him at Chelsea. He's such a disappointment. Like, anytime I roster him in DFS, it's like, oh great, he got 1 point. Like, he just kills me. But he's looked so good in the World Cup. Like,
he just has his flashes of brilliance.
Every ball is like in the perfect spot. Every cross has been like perfect. They're doing just enough to get by. I think this is where it's like,
levels.
This is where France just says like,
France.
Like, we're this close to the title, like, again. So, but now that is going to do it for the final episode of the year. Max, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. This is the earliest I've ever recorded the prop show, and I think I like doing it this early, even if some of the props aren't out yet. Tell the people what you're up to, where they can find you, any other pertinent information, social security number, credit card number, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, thank you again for having me. I love the show. It's a great thing to watch every week, and definitely get some bets from it every week. I'll never forget Kyler Phillips, round 3 sub, plus 3,500.
Yeah, it's been all downhill since then.
Yeah, but we'll always hold on to that.
Never forget. I shouldn't say that, but never forget.
You can find me on Twitter. My handle's in the thing. It's MBIRNR. Excited for the last card. I have a lot of plays on it. This is probably going to be my biggest card of the year, which is funny because it's the last card of the year, but I'm looking to go out with a bang. I'm excited for these fights. I think there's some great lines out there, and should be a fun card.
One other thing about Max I didn't mention earlier on, he's got like we haven't talked NFL, but he's got really good NFL takes too. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows more than me about the NFL, which is, I don't think it's easy, but he's like honed in. I think it was Diggs we were like arguing about, and then I'm like, oh, goddamn, he's right. Maybe he's not that good. Like,
he's that good.
No, like in the secondary, not
Oh,
Stephon Diggs.
Trayvon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he's been exposed all year.
I know. I mean, he had I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, dude, that's still hard to do. And you're like, yeah, well, here's actual numbers. I'm like, God damn, this kid's good.
He can catch.
I know.
He is a
I was either going to block you or add you as a friend. And I think that was, I'm like, all right, let's add him.
Yeah, it's hating on Cowboys. It couldn't be bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't go wrong there.
Big game this Sunday.
But if you want good NFL takes, like Max is really good for that too on his feed. So follow him. He's a fun follow. And I'm somebody that doesn't like anybody. So if I tell you it's a fun follow, like I don't say it half-assed. So guys, good luck on your bets this weekend. And I suppose we will see you in January, where I will even tell you who my first guest is, because I already have it scheduled. He will not be eating on air, I don't believe, but the king of Philly cuisine, Mushroom, will be making his YouTube debut on the first card of January. He told people that in Wheezy's chat last night. People are like, what? I'm like, and everybody just wonder if he's going to do a face reveal. I'm like, he has to. Like, it's not negotiable.
You don't think it's just going to be a video of his food and vapes while he talks?
I told him I'm cool filming the show live at like D'Alessandro's and getting cheesesteaks together. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not a big dude, but I like me some cheesesteaks. So, guys, good luck on your bets, and we will see you next year. And protect your bags. Take care, guys.